All right. Hello, everybody. This is another session of Ironsworn. And I'm going to be like all full of energy because I'm trying to wake Blink up. She's a little tired right now. So, hey, everybody. It's session 10 of season 2 of Ironsworn. I'm Midnight Jester 8. Who's this I got over here? Introduce yourself right now. Go.
Hi.
You see like an Eeyore voice, like, hi, I'm Blinkin' Firefly.
I'm blinking, still waking up, Firefly.
It's fair enough. Yeah, welcome everybody. Hey, Tom Tucker and Green Day. Yeah, I guess afternoon for you. It is, in fairness to Blink, it is also pretty late where she is. It's, evening where I am, but decidedly night on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna do what we can. If you've never been to one of these streams before and don't know what the hell Ironsworn is, just for a real quick reference, it is an RPG that is written to be playable in 3 different ways. You can do it traditionally with like one GM and like a group of players. You can do it like that. You can do it co-op, which is how we're doing it, where there's no real GM exactly. It's just that we're both kind of co-authoring this together. We're both players. We're both handling it. It's all on the fly. We don't put any planning into what's coming forward, as will sometimes be evident. So sometimes it works better than others, but generally it works pretty well. And then the third way, which is so cool and is super handy, potentially for you right there, the audience member, you can play it entirely by yourself. I've done it. I had another... Hey, thanks, Theo. You got it here? Yeah, nice. You can play this entirely by yourself. There are enough like random generators and just the rules will push the story in interesting directions. It totally works. And if you want to try it out for yourself and find out, head to www.ironswornrpg.com. You can pick up the game for free. It's the next wonderful thing about it. It is pay what you want. It is an amazing game. It is so worth, like, I was going to say it's worth every penny, but it's free. So it's worth like so many more pennies than that. But anyway, we're going to be playing... Hey, thanks, Tofu. I need to fix those. They, my notifications display way too huge on this screen. That is not intentional. They're not supposed to cover up just everything like Tofu Terror has hosted us, but going pretty well. So yeah, for a quick recap of where we are, if you're not up to speed on all of the episodes, which are available on YouTube, but that's not really much help for you now if there's not really time. But for where we are right now, where we last left off, importantly, Blinkin' Firefly's character Gray is kind of the only real character right now, sort of. My character Flint, she carries with her inside a necklace. It's a long story, but I'm just kind of this mote of light inside a necklace that she carries, and she was traveling with her. With her traveling companion Chandra on the way to try and find this wizard Muko. They reached a large city, or at least the largest in the area, and in trying to ask some questions about this Muko that they had reason to believe might have stopped through the area and see if anybody had seen him, turned out that there are people in this town that didn't like people asking that many questions, and potentially specifically about Muko. She was in the middle of like this tavern, asking a bunch of questions, and it went poorly. Somebody tipped off the authorities, and there was a shakedown, and we're going to start off this session as a result with her in prison. That's about the main stuff that you need to know. Anything that you...
Got my horse back and
That's true. Yes, you
lost it again.
I was about to ask if you had anything you wanted to add, and yes, you did get your horse back. We solved that. You got your horse back, and it's in like some stables right now. They don't really allow horses in your jail cell. I guess we haven't explored the cell itself yet, but I don't feel like that's gonna be part of the process. Like they don't, unless you like register your horse as a therapy animal, and then maybe they'll be, if you fill out all the proper paperwork. But why don't we move over into that proper getting started if you are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you expect cello sound effects? I mean, I guess my cello is right there if there's something that really needs it, but typically no. Just because I gotta like get it up, and that's this whole process. That doesn't belong in the quote book. So moving over, wrong sheet. We need Gray's sheet because you're the one who's gonna be far more relevant. So let's start things off. So as we talked about at the very end of last week when we were kind of thinking it through and figuring out like what would it kind of look like, we talked about how they'd probably like next when we found you, you'd be in this kind of like sackcloth, and it would they would not have you in a very good situation. They'd probably take your possessions and clothes and stuff and make you wear just some basically dirty rags. And I talked about this with Blink in the week since that session, but
Damn it.
but it's
No.
yeah,
He
I was thinking that if we follow the logic through on all of this, if they're taking her clothes and making her change and taking all of her things, like obviously her sword, like they're not going to let you have that, any of your weapons. That would be a terrible idea. But importantly, I think in this town, when they see that when they're stripping her of her stuff, they'll see that there's this necklace. Or, Blink, you know where I'm going with this. Do you think we should just say this is true, or leave it up to the dice and like see whether or not they take your necklace that has my little energy in it?
I don't know. I feel like they would take everything.
They would take. Okay.
They would take everything and just put me in a potato sack.
You think it's just certain? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they would be very intrigued by this glowing necklace and not let you keep it, because part of what we think they might be so worried about with Muko as a wizard is that they might see magic as a little bit too chaotic and weird, and that necklace looks like magic. They would not want you to have it.
Yeah, if we're associating with wizardly type, they're gonna suspect everything.
Exactly. So I think we'll start off on that image this time, I guess. Like we talked about how last time we ended on the image of like, is this up above shot peeling back slower and slower as like they're, roughing up everybody inside the inn and arresting people. And I think this time we probably begin on something far more like, I'm imagining, like in prison movies you might get like an out of focus shot of like, the naked prisoner up against the wall where they're like hosing him down and then like covering him in lye and stuff like that. I don't think they'd be literally doing that, because they wouldn't have the like running water situation to like hose you down. But I feel like we see a similar type of thing of like the process of you being admitted into this jail, and it's not a very nice process. Because we knew one other prisoner who was I forget the word it was, but like they were clearly, it wasn't tortured, it was mistreated or something along those lines. I can't remember what it was. Sorry, I feel like I keep cutting you off. Yeah, Emmeline. She had some adjective that was something along the lines of how she'd been a little mistreated, and I feel like the prison's probably doing that to you as well. Not in a way that's going to like cause you mechanical harm or anything, but as we see this process of you being admitted, and it's not very nice. It's all very dark and dingy, and you can probably hear the rats, or potentially even see them like scurry into frame and then scurry out in the shadows.
I wonder if they separate me from Chandra, or if they just keep us together.
Do you want to determine that randomly?
Yeah,
let's find out. All right, so as often comes up in moments like this, we like chat to help us out, to help decide like how likely things are, or in other moments where we might need your help figuring out what makes most sense. And anytime you have any input, feel free to shout it out. We're always open to suggestions. It's a game that, because we've not done any planning or like written any story, like there's no way for you to really like suggest something that'll ruin the story or something, or like derail things. Like any suggestions are good, so always feel free to chime in. But yeah, we need to set a likelihood on this, and my question for chat is, hold on, I forgot to open something up before this was started. That was my bad. Okay. Where's the Oracle thing? I'm looking for, there's a specific thing that there we go. Ask the Oracle. So I need to know how likely do you think the chances are that Gray is kept in the cell, or kept together with Chandra? I'm including in this, I think, even if you're not literally in the same cell, like in adjacent cells where like you could pass things through the bars or something, kept together in one sense or another, how likely do you think that is? Almost certain? And this is the person that she was traveling with, and they all got arrested. Or wait, no. I forgot. Oh, that's right. The last thing we did last time was establish that she got arrested too. That's right. She was there. So yeah, the person that got arrested with Gray as a traveling companion, almost certain that they'd be together, likely 50-50, unlikely, or small chance. What's your leaning on that? How likely do you think this is?
I think it'd be 50-50, but
I would say either 50-50 or unlikely. Like, I don't think that they consider you... I mean, I guess the role will kind of determine, like, how dangerous do they think that you are. Like, if it turns out they're keeping you separately, then clearly that'll inform us a little bit that they think you're something to watch out for, or at least one of the two of you is, and they don't want you together. Like, they think there's a danger in that if they're keeping you separate.
Yeah, they seem well organized and pretty suspicious. I think they would take all precautions and probably separate us.
Oh, we're gonna have like... We're definitely going to have to do, like, an interrogation scene or something where they're asking you about Mugo and, like, separating you two and stuff. The way we talked about them last time, we kind of made some like, KGB kind of analogies in the way they treat some of their citizens, and I could definitely see them putting you in a room with, like, the bright lights in your face. Though, again...
the bright torches.
Yeah, the bright torches. There's just a guy holding a torch right in your face. You're like, yeah, it's really...
Just nearly burning.
Yeah, that's more hot than anything else. Could you please pull that back? Let's just go with...
Where were you 3 moons ago?
Yeah, let's just go with 50-50.
Okay.
It's not really important to me and too much. I think you're right that it could go either way. And it'll just more tell us about what they think about you than anything else. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right. No. I phrase that as that they'd keep you together. So you are...
Oh, okay.
So apparently, yeah,
they're getting a little...
They're a little suspicious
crazy.
of the two. Well, no. That they will know, like, they will not keep you together.
Oh, they won't? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was no, they're not separate. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they do consider you a little bit more of a threat, and wherever... And that's kind of handy for us as well. Like, gives us more, like, things to take care of to break you out of prison. There's more kind of, like, steps along the way. Assuming that you care about Chandra. I mean, that would definitely be considering you're still sworn to help her find Muko.
Yeah,
unless the result is like, I'll get Muko and bring him to Chandra in prison. You can have a visitor.
Oh.
I guess it would still be possible. But
that'd be risky.
Or you change the vow basically to like find in a more metaphorical sense where like you'll just kill them both so they find each other in the afterlife.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of ways you could take
I'm
this.
not like that.
I don't think you are, no. Okay, so we know you're not kept together, and by that interpretation of that means not only not literally the same cell, but I think you'd be far enough, like, you're not sure where she is. Like, you can't see or hear her from where you are. She's somewhere else in this complex.
Okay.
And I don't...
That makes things more difficult.
Yeah, and I don't think... personally that it would be a full-on like black site kind of like they put a bag over your head and everything, like who knows where you are. Like, I don't think it's that dystopian and awful here. Like, they're mean and they keep a tight grip on the city, but I don't think it's that secretive. Like, you would have been let in through some kind of process. Yeah, it would have been some kind of legitness. So then
they're organized.
We'd see that whole, like, them stripping you of your stuff and probably forcibly cleaning you and stuff to make sure.
Stripping and cleaning, oh my.
I think but not because you're filthy so much as another thing that we talked about over the week. I think that this city, the reason they're so authoritarian, is not just because they're big meanies, but because... in our truths about this world, we established that the reason that we left the old world is about this sickness that was there. That there was basically a plague, and we all had to leave that continent to escape it. And I think this is a town that's all the more fearful of that. And the people in charge like to exercise a lot of caution. So I think the scrub down
makes
and the
sense.
cleaning, the thorough cleaning, is less about you looking filthy and more that they don't trust your outside germs. Like, you're an outsider, who knows what you could be bringing. They want to make sure that less that you bring it into the prison and more that, like, obviously you'd be interacting with guards and then they leave the prison, and it's that whole process. They don't want this to be ground zero.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, like scrub you down with like hard bristly, like those old kind of, like it's like you're being scrubbed with a deck broom. Like it's so
Just
abrasive.
red all over when I'm done.
Oh, totally. Just they
Raw.
they get they exfoliate you like 4 or 5 layers probably.
Good. I was overdue for a good exfoliation.
Yeah, I mean your skin's gonna be so clear when it's all done, but it's not very comfortable.
Glowing.
Yeah, well, probably glowing from the radiation of how much heat the bristles are making through friction. But anyway, and then at the end of this whole process, they take the necklace with you said it was what? It's a glass bottle, right? It's this clear empty bottle that has the mode of light in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've described it. I know I've talked about it with Blink, but I think we've described on air that this light, I envision it as, it's not like the whole thing is glowing like this big orb. It's like there's a pinprick of light in there, and it casts some outside, but it's really tiny. It's like, it's almost like there's a floating crumb that just happens to glow. It's this tiny,
I like that. Yeah.
It's this tiny light, but it's hovering in the middle of the bottle. And it does cast a little bit of light, but not like, you probably wouldn't use it, like if you were in a dark cave or something, it probably wouldn't do that well to just like hold it out to light your way. It just wouldn't be that much.
Yeah.
It would just be this faint kind of glow. And they take it from you. And what I want to know from you right now is like, obviously to take it from you, they have to be in like right next to you, and certainly they outnumber you at the moment, but what's your reaction when they take this from you? Like, what does Gray think about this? Do you let it happen? Do you try and do anything about it? What's the
I'm
process?
sure I probably would,
You're probably
protest and be like, oh no, like my
yeah,
instinctual reaction would be to reach out and be like, no, please,
like
this is
like, I don't think
has extreme sentimental value. It belonged to my mother and foster mother.
Yeah, like I don't think that to like fully set the scene. The way I'm imagining it right now, I don't think you're in the cell yet because it's still in the like process of getting you in and like the scrubbing and everything. It's probably like as they're giving you actually it probably would have happened right before the scrub. If we're making they would have happened as they're stripping you down to get ready for it. They would have noticed it. I guess if we're making the most sense out of it. So
yeah, before they scrub me down.
Yeah, right before that there was a. So you protest. Do you want to turn this into maybe there's a chance you can convince them otherwise.
Okay.
If you want to make a roll out of this.
Let's see how nice this guard is
It sounds like what you're doing is a compel with heart. Like you're pleading. You're saying like that reasoning was very much like there were no lies involved. It is sentimental. It was your mother's. You're not trying to trick them.
Maybe he'll just look it over real quick, make sure it's not a weapon.
Yeah, maybe. That's what we'll determine with this roll. So, first roll of the game, let's see if you can compel him with your heart to be like, come on, man. Like, it's a necklace.
Yeah.
His Wick says seduce the guard.
Seduce the guard.
Technically, that would still also be a compel. That might also still be a compel with heart. Because it's charm, pacify, barter, or convince. So, yeah, I guess you could.
Guard.
Yeah. Yoo-hoo! Oh, which I will mention one more time, just because I'm add +1 if you share a bond. I'll just, as a constant reminder for both of us, we do have outstanding bonds in this world that we've never established who they are. So, at any point, if you want to establish that a person in particular, like, oh, I think it would be interesting if I had a bond with this person. That is your right. You have, I believe, 2 open bonds. I have 2 as well. I
thought I had one with Chandra.
You have not yet formed that one. You're kind of like developing that relationship, and eventually there's a move that you can make to make a bond with her.
Okay.
and escaping from prison may well be a good enough. If you can get out together, that may well be a good enough reason to make that move.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like when you face like hardships with people or like really go through something together in one way or another, there's a move that you can make to like forge an official relationship out of it.
Yeah.
But
And we've been through a lot already.
yeah, you've been on like the road together, and you've sworn this vow to her. But yeah, I mentioned that just in case. Like I was just having this image in my mind of like, it turns out that just like one guard in particular you happen to know, and like that's your insider to help you get out.
Oh, possible.
Yeah. So that's the reason I bring it up, is just in case we want to go that route at some point. You have those open.
Okay.
So
Cool.
anyway, let's make this heart roll and officially get started.
Okay.
Hey, now that's a good start to the game. A strong hit. There you go. It was your
Nice.
best stat, but hey, there was a high challenge die there. For a quick version, if you've never seen Ironsworn before, the quick version of how this works, what we do is we roll a 6-sided die. We add whatever is the most relevant stat, in this case, heart, so we add 3 to it. You can see by that green box around the what is called the action score that she rolled maximum on that. So she rolled a 6, she added the 3, we get 9. What we do with that, we compare it to those two 10-sided dice down there. 9 is bigger than 8, 9 is also bigger than 6. Because it's bigger than both of them, we have the best result, a strong hit. If it were bigger than one but not the other, we'd have a weak hit. If it weren't bigger than either of them, we'd have a miss. So, quick version of the like core mechanic of this game. Other than that, if you want to know more, pick up the book. It's free. But you have a strong hit, and as a result, not only are you going to... they'll do what you want, so obviously you're going to get to keep this necklace, so that's awesome. We're going to get to stay together. That's going to be super handy. You also get +1 momentum. And if you were using this to gather information, they would also do a thing, but you're not. This is just about them not taking your necklace. You are starting off with some nice momentum. Despite being in prison, the plot is on your side. Momentum is kind of a rough representation of how much you're in control of the situation. And, yeah.
So
as
be the guard. What does the guard say?
Yeah, let's see.
After I plead with him.
Good question. Real quick, I'm going to just roll up a couple of things about this guard. I'm just going to do one little personality trait to get an idea of like what's the most prominent thing about him in personality. I don't know why that closed. There we go. All right, let us do an oracle on character descriptor. Powerful. Okay, so I think you find like he's good. We're gonna do the trope of the gentle giant. Like, despite this guy being like enormous, since it says powerful, this is probably the guy that if they need to is probably takes heads. You would like. It's probably
the executioner.
It's probably. I don't think that's all he does, but I think he probably is an executioner. Or let's find out. Let's get a name and determine. Let's get a gender. I don't know if this is a he or not. Let's get an Ironlander name. Kodroth. Okay, that's a great name for a powerful person. Kodroth. That's amazing. And that does sound more like a male name to me than a female name.
Yeah.
So Kodroth is, I think, their most typical executioner, even though it's like they probably do the same thing where it's anonymous. I think it's not easy to forget that that's him, because I think Kodroth is probably probably the size of like Shaquille O'Neal or something, like just huge. Clearly stands out among the crowd. This game is called Ironsworn. It is available for free at ironswornrpg.com. Check out the PDFs if you want to follow along. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so I think we have this like gentle giant here, which is funny because he's so often the executioner. Like, maybe he doesn't like that. And we see he's got a soft spot because like maybe because he's so big, they leave you in the room like just the two of you because they trust like, what are you gonna do against Kodroth? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They don't think they think he alone outnumbers you and nobody's gonna try anything. So it's like just the two of you in there. And he like has your necklace in the hand, and I think this tiny bottle is like, it looks all the tinier and fragile inside this just paw that he has. This big, calloused hand that's just hefted many a big axe in his life. And just like, I think he hesitates for a moment, and it's in his clutches, and like we wonder, oh god, is he gonna accidentally crush it, just not knowing his own strength? And like, about how tall do you think Gray is?
She's my height.
Okay.
5'7".
Gotcha. So definitely like quite the looking down from a mountain like Kodroth. Possibly even like reaching down a little bit if he's holding something. Yeah, I think Kodroth would say he'd like consider it for a moment. He's like looking it over, looks over his shoulder to verify like nobody else is in the room. And he says, I know the pain of losing a mother. You must keep it hidden. But I won't take it from you.
Thank you. I have a necklace. I should put a necklace on.
But then, like, before there's too much of a sense to feel like, oh, what a sweet guy, then comes the, like, oh, he's the one who scrubs you. Like, so, like, no wonder it hurts so much.
No wonder why I'm, like, beat red after.
Yeah, Kodroth is the one, and they want somebody that, yeah. Then maybe that's also why you're alone, is, like, they want people to have some amount of dignity. And also, if you're oh, this all makes perfect sense. So, they think you're germy and they want to scrub you off. They don't want any more people than potentially one to get infected. And Kodroth is probably, like, he's such a big person, like, oh, he must have a hardy constitution. Like, he'd fight off any sickness you could give him. So they put you in the room with Kodroth to scrub you down. Yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, man, Kodroth, you're going to have to stick around, you gentle giant.
Yeah.
Help me remember that that's his name. But anyway, we know that you get to keep the necklace with my spiritual form in it, so that's good. We get to stay together. So Flint is Flint is probably
gonna
like,
need your advice.
yeah, just like, yeah, nice going. You may yet have an ally there. Like, he's saying that like while you're being vigorously scrubbed and feeling like the flesh is being like is gonna just like rip free from your body. It's like you
just hating on Kodroth.
You may yet have an ally there.
This ally is gonna strip my skin off.
You whisper in that? Because as we established, you have to say it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't murder me first by scrubbing the skin right off my bones. Yeah, I kind of just mutter it.
Yeah. Kodroth is probably, like, I think he's likely too busy in his work to pay you too much attention to that. And he's probably heard all sorts of shit when he's scrubbing people down. Like, he's no stranger to that whole business of people screaming out and everything. I imagine you being, like, a full-on, like, Ironsworn adventurer are probably far more tolerant of it and able to withstand this better than most people. You're a player character. You get to be cool during it, not just, like, wailing as he scrubs away your flesh. But eventually you'd be brought into your cell. Like, I don't think Kodroth does that. But I think like some other guards lead you in, because I don't think Kodroth, unless he is absolutely needed, probably goes in. I don't think he goes into that part of the prison. I think he's needed for more specialized duties like this and executioning and God, he would totally be played by Michael Clark Duncan. That's the name of the guy who's John Coffey in Green Mile, I think. I think that's his name.
That's who I'm thinking of, yeah. John Coffey. Yeah.
I think Kodroth is totally played by Michael Clark Duncan, who just can't get out of that prison. Let me just make sure I'm thinking of the right name. Michael, right? Yeah, okay, Michael Clark Duncan. Yeah,
gotcha.
He is totally played by him.
Kind of who I'm envisioning, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he is mentally challenged like that character, but he has some more specialized
pretty
tasks.
sharp still, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we get you to your cell, and I think it's based on the time you were brought in. It's probably a late night admittance because you're out in a tavern and everything. I think this like it's bunk time. Like you're not supposed to be awake. Oh, one thing we definitely need to establish here: do you have a bunkmate? And we need to know what they are. I think it is almost certain. I think they wanted to keep you and Chandra separate, but I don't think that you're in like being kept alone.
Yeah, they're gonna utilize that space
Exactly.
to their full advantage. And
You know what?
Double up.
It is interesting enough to me that I don't even want to roll for it. I think let's just say it's yes,
Okay.
you'll have a bunkmate. The question is, of course, whether or not they're a nice person.
Yeah.
They are in prison, but we also know that a lot of people are in prison for not necessarily what we would think of as the greatest of reasons. So that's not necessarily much of a mark on their character. Not that being in prison is necessarily a mark on your character, even in our reality. So yeah, let's get some character descriptors and names and everything. I'm gonna do the full package. We're gonna establish a character here. So character role.
Okay.
We're gonna find out who they were. A forager. Oh, they were probably like
Like a wildling type.
yeah, and probably and like picking through some like gardens for food and stuff. Like they, I read that and I read forager and I immediately think homeless. Basically, like they were they were probably like a vagrant in this town, and I can easily see why that wouldn't be looked well upon, especially if they don't like sickness. You see somebody
Yeah.
living on the streets, that's just waiting to be a vector. So, okay, so they were a vagrant and were foraging through somebody's whatever to be fed. Their goal, I'm not going to roll their goal because I think it's likely to. Well, I forget how vague these are. Let's see. Find a home. Yeah, clearly they're vagrants. They're trying to find a home.
Find a home.
Yeah, it all.
Homeless.
I love when the
So,
oracles.
I mean, that's basically homeless.
Yeah, I love when the oracles work out this completely, where it's just like, yep, I say something, and then all the random generators apparently hear me and just go, yep,
They're reading our minds.
exactly. We're totally gonna go with that. That sounds cool. So they're trying to find a home, and then we're gonna do the full 3 descriptors of them to get an idea of what they're like.
Okay.
Charming, bold, and disfigured. Which again could
Interesting combination.
I mean, if you've been living on the streets for a while, that takes a toll on you. You may have to walk with a bit of a hobble, or maybe you've always been living in poverty and just kind of malnourished, or just we live in a society that doesn't exactly have the medicines and surgeries that we have to help people with all sorts of birth defects and yeah. And then
So maybe that's how they begged for money, was they put on their charm.
could be, yeah.
And if they're a bit aggressive and bold, then
Yeah, they might play into that whole thing of like, woe is me, my poor crippleness. Please alms for me, and and then finally, let's get them a name. Nakata, which
that sounds like a
it sounds more
that
female.
sounds like
to
a
me.
woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost Nikita. Nakata. Okay, so she. And then finally, since none of those really gave me a good idea of whether or not they'd be like nice or not to a stranger, why don't we establish that through an oracle? I don't think that it's like especially likely that they just be mean just because, like if you don't give them a reason. But let's find out. Do they maybe they liked having a cell on their own? So we're gonna ask the oracle.
Maybe.
Let's see. The question is Nakata like
Well, she's charming. I feel
yeah,
like she wouldn't be mean. 'Cause
that's
she'd
true.
Be charming.
That's true. I guess charming right away like is gives good reason to suggest that. Well, that doesn't mean she's charming to everybody. That means she's charming when she wants to be, presumably.
Okay.
Like, she can turn on the charm, but if for some reason, like, you're standing, like, if it turns out that she liked having this place alone, that could be the type of thing where she turns on the charm with the guards after she starts a fight with you and be like,
yeah.
oh, what do you mean?
Maybe.
It wasn't like, so who knows? But I still think
Good point.
I still think that if we're setting the difficulty on this, or not difficulty, but like the likelihood of it, like, is Nakata mean right off the bat? I think it's unlikely. And let's find out. No, she's not just mean off the bat. You'd have to give her some kind of a reason to be mean. At least for now, she's probably, neutral, a little bit cautious. Well, I know she's bold, so never mind. She would, Nakata would probably, like, once they close you guys in, or you gals in, you hear a stirring from your cot, or they probably. It may not even be that nice. I don't know that everybody has beds here so much as, like, there may be a pile of straw or something.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like a stone kind of like ledge.
Yeah. Yeah, probably something like that, where it's just basically an empty room with, like, a bucket in it. And then, yeah, like, in the back there's, like, a stone ledge that's maybe got, like, enough of a bundle of straw in a couple of places to, like, or there's like straw in the room, and, like, some of it has been bundled for, like, a pillow or, like, something to and so there's and since she was alone up until this point, it's probably all just this one bundle. So if you were to, like, get straw for yourself, maybe it's during that process that Nakata, like, kind of stirs, or it's probably when they're opening up the cell that would wake her up. But she kind of rolls over, takes an eye at you, and let's see, what kind of disfigurement do we think we'd have? I still keep thinking of it as, like, I think I like Nakata being, like, maybe paraplegic or something, like like, kind of like both her legs end at the knees is kind of what I'm picturing, if that works with you.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, so I think she'd be down on the ground, and well, I mean, she was lying down anyway, but she kind of roll up a little bit onto her
Maybe she's really
side.
strong.
Yeah,
Upper strength.
I think she's used to having to move around with her, like, her arms are probably pretty beefy as a result. Well, as much as she can while being probably kind of malnourished.
Can we give her one leg? I feel bad.
One leg?
Yeah, like
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Why not? I'll give her one leg. If that's what you want. She has one leg and one that ends at the knee. And
okay.
is probably used to, like, I don't think she is given one right now, but usually has something that works as a crutch, like, probably is used to do it just, like, leaning on a broom or something, but yeah, rolls over and it extends a hand to you and just goes, Nakata.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Gray. Hi.
Shakes your hand. First time around here?
Yeah, you could say that.
Don't you worry. As long as you fall in line, it doesn't have to be so bad. Bat your eyes at the right people. Do what they say. You can be in and out as often as you please.
Well, I'm off to a good start. I was able to salvage something when they were taking away all my other belongings.
Look at you. What did you manage to... You might want to keep your voice down. What did you manage to keep from them? And Flint is just like in your head, just like, careful, Gray. This is a stranger.
Yeah, But I feel like I'd be hiding it in my hair somehow. Like my hair would be back, and
Oh yeah, that makes sense since they
so
wouldn't give you
pull it
a
out.
hell of a lot. But yeah, yeah, I like that. I'm just Flint's little bottle is in your hair. Um,
Yeah. I just flash her the necklace. It's just like, oh, it's just my necklace. Kodroth was nice enough to let me keep it.
oh, he does he does have a little bit of a soft spot. I've learned over the times.
So what are you in for?
Oh, same thing as usual. Being in places where they don't want people like me to be. Anywhere.
Did you know Emmeline?
Let's find out. Considering Emmeline wasn't from here either, I think that's a small chance. Like maybe they'll just happen to know each other, but let's see. It says no. No one comes to mind by that name. But yeah, you should get some sleep. They're gonna want you to keep to a schedule, and that means waking up on time.
Okay.
Just stick with me. A lot of people don't tend to cause as much trouble with a cripple around. They feel sorry.
Gotcha. I appreciate the welcome.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't smell or snore too loudly, I think we'll be all right. Here,
I don't think I snore.
she like brushes and pushes some of the pile aside and says, "You're gonna want some of this."
Oh, thank you.
It's ridden with fleas, but so is everything around here.
I hate fleas.
Yeah, like I think for all the scrubbing and everything, like from a modern perspective, like they definitely don't do anything that's really gonna prevent all that much. Like, gonna do all that well with germ prevention. Like, just the ideas that they have aren't good enough. Like, they aren't complete enough. They don't keep you in good enough conditions.
I should probably mention to her that I got separated from my traveling companion and ask her how I can.
Yeah.
Where she might be. Do you think she'd be far away? How big are the cells? And
Yeah, let's do a gather information roll to ask questions and see what we can get out of her. Because I think that having been in and out of this place a lot, as she seems to imply, like there's at least a chance she knows this and might be willing to share it. So let's see. That is a wits roll. And the dice say... Oh shit! Critical failure, double 10 complication. You rolled as well as you possibly could have. Unfortunately, so did the challenge dice. So...
Damn it!
Yeah.
Was the guard listening?
I was gonna say, that sounds like... it sounds like somebody else overhears this, is the way that makes most sense with that. So yeah, on a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price, and then of course we need to make this even worse. So yeah, I think that, like, while the first guard that you were really interacted with, Kodroth, had kind of a soft spot and was a little nice, like the ones that are patrolling the areas where prisoners are supposed to sleep are probably a little bit more like high on their own their authority and ability to keep you down. Like they like their power position over you. Yeah, they're guardy. I think you immediately catch the attention of somebody who expects you to be silent because it is sleeping time, and is going to properly welcome you to the prison. Or at least he's going to try. Now, the question for you is, now his plan is to rough you up and do harm to you. Now you you can certainly resist this and try and fight him back, but obviously with the power dynamics, that has its own implications of what might happen as a result. So is this something that you let happen? Is it something you like try and get help from others from? Do you just fight back on your own? What's the plan here? Because his plan, this guard's plan, is to rough you up and teach you a lesson about talking right now.
I think I.
Hey, artist! Thank you for that raid, by the way.
Oh. Wait, we got a raid? I didn't show up for me. Chat. But I don't know. I feel like I would try to resist, like try to protect myself. But
okay, so now it's more about just keeping
roughing me up.
Yeah, so you just be trying to protect yourself, not like fighting him back in the like. You're not trying to cause damage to him. You're just trying to, cover the important bits and keep the damage down. Is what I'm hearing. Okay, I think we can represent that with a face danger. Probably with your edge seems reasonable. Like just being quick enough to kind of cover the important bits and block enough blows. It'd be edge or iron could definitely be it if you were just like taking it, but I could actually, yeah, I guess iron is probably really the most relevant for it. This is just like melee combat kind of and just protecting yourself in close quarters combat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's I think even though it's a worse stat for you, but I think this is indeed just iron. So yeah, let's see how well you can just protect yourself against all of this. I think given that it's a full-on double 10 complication as well, though, like, I think he's not only beginning to rough you up, but is also, like, he's making a big point about this, like, to everybody else in the cell, is doing the, like, apparently this prisoner doesn't think it's time to sleep, so everybody wake up! I want you to see what happens! I don't think they even know your name to say, like, Gray doesn't want you to sleep, but...
Yeah.
Our new inmate doesn't think it's time to sleep. Let's show him what happens. You can go to sleep on your own or I will put you to sleep. And yeah, he's going to try and knock you out. There's probably other guards as well that are like aware of that. They're doing the like we're present, but I'm just looking in the wrong place, even though he's clearly making a big scene out of this. So like there's no deniability, but they're all just around and trying to watch without making it look like they're watching. And let's see how you do. Okay, you get a weak hit on protecting yourself here, which... Now, in theory, you could turn this into a strong hit if you burned all of your momentum, but as another player, I think there's probably better uses of it for you than right now. Like, during the presumed escape process, you'll probably want your momentum then. So a weak hit on face danger means you succeed, but you face a troublesome cost. So you're going to suffer -1 to something. I guess... being
maybe
still a little bit hurt is
cuts my lip or something.
Yeah, like one of your sliders is going to go down by 1. It could just be that it's indeed your health. Like you get a little bit hurt, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
And you're not knocked
Bloody
out.
nose.
Yeah, it hurts. We do need to make you endure harm though. So let's move this down by 1 and then do a quick roll for you. So when you endure harm, you're going to have to roll either health or iron, whichever is higher. Your health is +2, your iron is 1. So we're going to roll with the health.
Okay.
And let's see what happens. Strong hit. Nice. I believe on a strong hit, you're going to actually get that right back. Yeah. Oh, you have an option here. So on a strong hit, you can choose one. You can either shake it off if your health is greater than 0, which it is. You could get that health back if you lose 1 momentum. Or you could embrace the pain and take +1 momentum. Like, this would be the moment where you're like gritting your teeth and using it all for all the more like incentive. Being like, I gotta get out of here. Like I'm gonna.
Yeah,
This is why
I
I
like
need to
that one.
escape. Okay, so
I
yeah,
feel like that's what I'm like. God, just one thing after another.
yeah.
I'm getting out of here.
So
I can't.
it fuels you as the blows are landing and the bruises are forming a little bit. You turn inward and recognize like just this is just gonna light the flame that of your desire to get out of here and give you all the. I feel like there's a word I keep searching for and failing to find. But oh well, you all get what I'm talking about. I'm just vamping at this point. I don't think anything else happens that night unless you want to like immediately try and escape during the night. What's your leaning on that? Is this the type of thing where you want to immediately get out of here? Also, do you want to swear a vow about that first?
Yeah, I think I do. I think that momentum, that fuel, kind of just like I'm getting out of here the first chance I get.
Yeah. Oh, so
in fact, I'm gonna.
Yeah. So
There's iron bars right there, probably.
There's totally some iron bars. You can, as we talked about, like we can totally have the just swearing on the bars of the prison cell to get out of it. Then let us definitely make that roll. I need to remember as Flint to do some aid the ally moves from time to time with just watching out for stuff and things like that. Not that I'm that great at it, but let's have you swear an iron vow. The core of this game, making vows and fulfilling them. So let's read out this vow. What do you say on this iron? What is the vow?
Say, I swear I'll break out of this prison. I'll get Chandra. Well, I guess that's another.
Oh, it can all be part of the same
I'll
vow.
break out of prison with Chandra.
Yeah, you'll break the two of you out of prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really the most important bit I wanted to get at is whether or not getting her out is also part of this vow, and it is. So I'm gonna write that down, and then the other thing we need to do is we need to determine how big of a quest is this gonna be. Like, I definitely feel like this is more than just troublesome to break out of this prison. From that point, it's basically just, how difficult, how much screen time do we want this to be? If it's dangerous, I think we could definitely get through this, possibly even and have time for other stuff in this episode. If it's formidable, it's probably going to be an entire episode about this, especially at this point. We've only got about an hour, a little over an hour left. We might even extend it into next time if it's formidable. So what's your leaning on that as a player? Like, how long do you want this to really be to break out? Like a full-on like heist, like great escape that has to happen, or more just like, you get a few of the pieces working and you'll probably be able to get out?
Yeah, I don't want to make a big thing about it. I think once we do get out, though, we'll be wanting to get out of the city as quickly as possible too.
Right.
We're realizing this place is just way too strict, and
yeah, and doesn't have and if it has Muko, at least nobody wants to talk about him. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But I guess there is still that chance. We don't know whether
I'll
he's
need
here.
to find out.
We don't know if he's here or not. We just know that asking about it gets you arrested. So
yeah.
I will escape. We need to give a proper name to this prison. Like a good prison nickname. Chat, this is definitely a type of moment where if you have any suggestions, I would love
Yeah, what's the name of this prison?
I could roll the settlement name kind of generator thing, which will give us something it would be named after. Let's see.
I feel like it would be named after some kind of stone or like
well, the generator says granted, this is for a settlement name, so it's not quite the same thing, but named after a season or environmental aspect. It could be like a environmental disaster. Like this is the sinkhole.
I was gonna say rock slide or something, but yeah.
That sounds like the type of thing that people prisoners would nickname it though. Like I feel like there's a more official name too. Like, the prisoners call it the sinkhole, but maybe it's the proper
Yeah,
name is something
I like
else.
that.
So I will escape from the sinkhole and take Chandra with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, boom. That is, ooh, it just fits in the line. I always have to tailor these a little bit just to make sure they fit with my current font size. But so take Chandra
Nice.
with me, and since you said, probably not too long of a process, let's just set that as dangerous then.
Okay.
Like, this isn't exactly like the most epic prison in all of the lands, and they're just. I think it is a prison, and the people who run it are mean, but it's not just like so incredible max security type of thing.
Yeah.
You're a hero. You can break out of this. You just got to get the pieces going. So let me set that in place. Boop. Dangerous. And finally, let's make the roll to make this vow and see, like, how are we coming into this? So you need to roll some plus heart, which, again, thankfully your highest stats. You're good at starting vows. You're not making it to a person or community that you share a bond with, so no +1, but let's see. All right, another weak hit.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
Indeed. Thank you, Big Bill, for that follow. Greatly appreciated. Oh man, all of my notifications are way too huge. I need to fix that. They're just like, entire screen needs to know. But yeah, I appreciate that, Big Bill. Oh man, please tell me Big Bill is like a It reference. I sure hope so. I feel like Georgie when I'm saying it. Or no, I guess it's not Georgie. It says it's the rest of the Losers Club. They always call him Big Bill. Anyway, not important. Damn it! I thought it was maybe a reference to Stephen King's It, because one of the main characters is often called Big Bill. But all right, so you get a weak hit on your Swear an Iron Vow, which means all right, you're determined, but you begin your quest with more questions than answers. Take +1 momentum and envision what you want to do to find a path forward. So cool. So you are starting this off so driven to make this happen. Like, Jesus, your momentum is almost maxed out. You will almost always be able to turn, like at this point, most any roll that you could make, if you want it to be a strong hit, it will be. So it's all about just finding the important moments. But of course, doing that is going to be, blowing your wad. It was a nickname from college. Gotcha.
So I don't think I go to sleep. I think
you think it's all about tonight?
Yeah, I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
If I can help it, I'm not staying in here even one night.
Yeah. Flint, you can like already feel like when she mentions the fleas biting and everything, like
Definitely,
you can't
yeah.
help but feel it, even if they're not biting you yet. And so just like, oh, fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, that tipped the edge for me. I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
this.
Well, that and the beating right away, but
yeah, that too.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I think Flint would be like, all right, well, if we're doing this now, obviously the first problem is going to be the bars. Like, I think there's enough time that like everything settles back down. People are going back to sleep. The guards are like patrolling a little bit, but it's not like a lot of them anymore, because I think more of them were around because you had just been brought in. But now that like if you wait until it's more quiet around, then there's probably just like the one just making rounds just in case he hears or they hear people stirring. But yeah, I'm gonna try and aid you. I'm gonna secure an advantage with my wits. They're not good, but let me take a look at my asset, because I think I want to use my sighted. I'm gonna try and gather information. I guess I'm not directly identifying mystic forces, so never mind. It wouldn't help me. But I am still trying to, and I guess I'm not gathering information. I'm securing an advantage. I want to basically do my best to get a lay of like where the guards are, and I mean, honestly, you have better wits than I do, but I guess yeah, we need to figure out a few things. We need to need to get enough milestones to get you out of here. So I think one milestone would definitely be getting out of your cell. It's going to be a big one. Or potentially even like securing what you need to get out of here.
Mm.
I guess I should ask you as the other player, do you have an idea in mind yet, or are you kind of looking for ideas on how you might break out of here? Is there a version of this that already plays out and you can see it? What would that entail?
I feel like me having lived with a blacksmith.
Oh, that's true.
That
You know a
I would
lot
have
about
some
iron and
kind of skill. Yeah, I think that Holmick did make a couple of cell doors because we.
Are
we
we
would have
gonna
had-
do the full on like Pirates of the Caribbean? Like it just needs the right leverage.
Yes, you were thinking exactly the same thing I'm
Okay.
thinking. I was thinking exactly that scene where
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, I just need a lever of some sort where I can lift the cell door, but I'm gonna need a distraction too. So maybe I can convince this girl to really amp it up and just.
Okay, I think if you were able to convince her to
Nakata.
I think if you were able to convince Nakata to make a worthy distraction. Now, granted, she would be just making a distraction in the cell where you're working, so
maybe I won't even need to bust open the.
Oh, just like get them to open it. Do that whole classic where like a guard has to open it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's definitely it's up to you how to progress.
I'll try to convince her.
Flint would at least be like asking in your head like, "What are you thinking on this?" I see. Like we're probably having the same sort of confab. Like, I feel like there's a couple of plays here. But
I gotta figure out if Nakata wants to break out.
Okay.
As well, and then see if she'd be willing to work her seduction magic to.
That's well, it's certainly not magic, but she is charming. At least we've been led to believe that. So yeah, wanna go talk to her a little bit? What's that look like? She's probably like, assuming you've indeed waited this time again, where things are quieter. She may well be back asleep at this point.
Yeah, I think I try to wake her up.
Okay, just like go over and.
Nakata, wake up. Like, shake her a little bit.
Yeah, what's clearly you didn't learn that lesson. What's going on?
I have to break out of here. I have to break out of here now. Can you help me, please? If it works out the way I plan, you'll get out of here too.
All right. Well, in terms of how she responds to this, let's let the dice decide like how well you're. Like, I don't know how she'll respond, so sounds like another compel to convince her to hey, help me out, break us out together. Let's see. Oh man, trying to be way more on the dice. Like last time we didn't do all that many rolls, and this time want to get a chance to push the story forward a little bit more and lean back in that direction a little bit more. So yeah, you're definitely doing a heart roll with this. It's just trying to get her on the team. Part of this, not heist, but escape. And you have. Oh, it's a miss though, and actually one that is high enough. The dice roll high enough, your momentum actually can't even help you. It was just high challenge dice. So yeah, Nakata's not on board, or rather, they refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. Pay the price. So it could just be that she needs something really big, like it's gotta
something I can't give her.
It's gotta cost you greatly. My first thought is certainly about like, oh well, we know that she's looking for a home. I think Nakata is just like, look, this place isn't great, but honestly, it's 4 walls and a ceiling above me, which is more than I get a lot of the time. If you can promise me that on the outside, maybe I'm a little bit more interested. But right now, this place is terrible for you, but there's a reason I'm in here a lot. Told you, it's not so bad. Fall in line, you'll get used to it. So I'm kind of leaving it up to you, like that. You could interpret that as her refusing, or it could be if you can find a way to promise and get her a place to live when it's all done, then she'd be willing to do it. Like, do you think that's something that you are capable of promising?
I don't think I can promise that.
Yeah.
No.
So it's just a refusal then. Like, she's more or less happy here and doesn't want to make waves.
Okay.
It's like, look, I'm not gonna tell. Yeah. Again, she's not got no reason to be mean to you yet. So she's like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. You do what you gotta do, but leave me out of this. As far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
if you're pulling some shit right now, I was asleep this whole time. And she rolls back over. Yeah, she does not want to get a beating that would likely be far worse than what you got before. Like, if you get caught doing this, like, it's no mere quick lesson being learned. Like, it gets bad. She doesn't want any part of that. So yeah, she's not into it.
Does she have a prosthetic at all? Like, is it made of anything?
If she
Or is
has one, I don't think she has it here.
Okay, so it's just stump leg.
Yeah,
Alright,
right now it's just a stump. She may well on the outside or like wherever they're keeping your belongings as well. There may be somewhere where she sometimes has one, but somebody decided that she doesn't get to have it. Possibly because of something she did, or possibly because they're just assholes. Or she just doesn't have one. I don't know. What's your
I think I just need, like, yeah, I want to try to do that breakout.
Oh,
I just
leverage
need some
thing?
kind of lever, like a crowbar of some sort.
Well, we can certainly look around to try and find something that would work for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't that sounds like securing an advantage, honestly. Because like you probably could do it with like if you just really muscle them upwards, like maybe you could just do it, but it would sure be advantageous to have a thing. So it sounds like securing an advantage with wits to just look around and find something, anything that you could use as a lever arm like that. And let's see how you do. Because I think not only will this get you the benefits of the move, secure an advantage, but also, yeah, now that I think of it more, like without it, you probably won't have the ability to do that. Like, I don't think they'd make him that crappily, that if you just try real hard, you can lift him up with your bare hands. So let's see how you do. This will give you the fictional positioning to be able to do it this way, or you'll have to find another route. Strong hit. There you go. So you find something, and also you get to choose one of these. You can either make another move now, and you get to add +1. So this would be, it would give you your next move would be all the better, which would probably be the lifting the bars, or prepare to act, take +2 momentum, which considering you're at 9, you'd only get half of that anyway because it maxes out. So I definitely suggest you take the +1 and like just your next move is just better.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see. What could you find in a jail cell? Like what did they maybe overlook?
Maybe it was just
Or maybe
something that was.
Maybe you got a window and like there's something you can reach outside. Maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking like something came apart maybe it's just like a really old cell, and like maybe there's bars on the window, and maybe one of those bars is loose.
Yeah. Well, but like even without that one, it's still just too narrow to get out that way. Like.
Right. So I would have to.
Or maybe you just find. I kind of like this idea, like, because I don't want it to be too run down, but like. What if there were, like, in looking around, you find, like, there have been other prisoners in the cell. Maybe somebody had a little hiding space that never got found.
Ooh.
Like, you find the loose stone or something where, like, you're like, pacing around looking for what you can do, trying to think. And you happen to step on something that feels just a little weird. Or you're, like, maybe it's part of the wall or whatever. There's like, you're, like, against the wall. And you're like thinking and like tapping on stuff, and eventually you find this like this brick in the wall moves a little bit when you touch it, however you do,
Mhm.
and slide it out and find that somebody saved like some just like some iron rod or something that was originally part of God, I don't know what it would have been.
No one knows. It's just
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah, it
iron
just somehow
device.
somehow this person got their hands on like an iron rod. That's like
Maybe
long
there's a
enough to
couple of things in there.
Yeah. There probably are. There's like some personal effects. There's probably like some like
Maybe some
scrawled notes and
jewelry.
stuff and like
Mhm.
whatever happened to this person, they clearly did not exit this cell in a way that allowed them to reclaim their belongings, so they probably didn't
Yeah.
escape. But yeah, there's like written notes and stuff, and yeah, just little sentimental items probably. Maybe some saved up food that at this point is now really moldy and just like disgusting, but it was at once a treat that they would be able to have some extra.
Yeah.
Maybe some little bit of like tobacco in there or something for like an indulgence that they could like smoke it out the window and little vice stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, this iron bar that's like wrapped around it in a cloth. It looks like it was somebody like ripped off the like sack that they've dressed you in and have used that to
Mhm.
like wrap around an end to give you a little bit more cushioning on there.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah,
I find
it
it
seems
interesting.
like somebody had the same kind of plan that you did, but never got a chance to enact it. Something happened that kept them from going through with it, and we'll never know.
Okay.
Unless they were
Wow.
writing in their diary right up until the end, it was like, but unfortunately, then I misbehaved, and the guard is coming in to be. Oh God, it's happening right now! He like writes it out. um,
They're taking me away to the down belows.
but yeah, so this rod will let you do what you're trying to do and give you a +1 on it, which is good because I think it's just going to be an iron move here, really.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's more about the wits of you doing it in the right place.
I feel like I'm gonna have to, because someone's gonna hear the sound of me breaking out of an
Almost
iron.
certainly, because when it goes, it's probably going to like fall down unless you do something to prevent this from happening.
I need to. If it's nighttime, there's probably not as many guards, right?
Not in this area, yeah. I think there's just the one that's kind of patrolling around. Now, it's not like a prison the way we would imagine it these days and age. Like, it's not that huge of an area to patrol, but I think it's big enough that, like, there's places where, they're kind of far down the hall and, like, I think it is just indeed, like, kind of one long corridor. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think I want to take Qatar, or not Katara,
Nakata.
Nakata's advice and try to seduce a guard. I think I'm gonna just lure whoever's.
I would like to point out that may be how you heard her advice. Nakata never said to seduce a guard.
She did.
I'm not
she
saying
totally did.
I am not saying that is a bad idea, but I at least never intended to imply she was saying that. She was just like, hey, just
She totally implied it.
She just said fall in line and like they won't beat you up. And
No,
and Gray
she
is
was
just like, got it.
If
Seduce
you know,
the guard.
if you know the right words to say.
Oh, right,
she
like to
had,
bat
like,
the
she
eyelashes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
knew there was something. I was like, I totally gathered some information about her when she said that.
I have no problem with you interpreting that as gotta seduce my way out of here. That is not how I initially meant it, but that is a valid reading. I just meant like play nice so like they don't beat you up.
No, these guards get lonely. I'm totally.
Oh, I think that's.
And
like
she gave me the idea.
Hey, fair enough.
So I'm. I'm not. This is not.
When you get
entirely
caught
my
in
idea.
interrogating you later, like you'll just be in there like singing like a canary, like it was all Nakata's idea. She's asleep, and then the last thing you're just like, oh yeah, she's like, just leave me out of it. And you're like, Nakata told me to seduce the guards.
No, I wouldn't throw her under the bus.
She'll lose another leg that way. Okay, so yeah, you want to go through with that. What's your plan on this? And like, I'm assuming if you're trying to seduce a guard, like, do you probably put the bar back in the wall, or do you have it out? Are you like hidden on your person, or like what? What is the full
Yeah,
plan on this? Walk me through it.
I mean, I have it hidden behind me, and
Oh, okay, so you just have it like kind of like just one.
I'm
like
leaning up against the bars, and you got my arm.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know. Woohoo! I mean, I start whistling, making a little bit of like,
Yeah.
an alluring kind of
Yeah.
sound. It's a bit teasing, and obviously it's gonna annoy whoever's on watch. And
Yeah. Well, I think they'll certainly start coming over, to one degree or another. Like whether or not they get close enough to do the fullness of what you want to do, that'll be up to the dice. But, yeah, a guard would probably come over to see what's going on and say something along the lines of, "Oh, you know what? It should totally be that same asshole." Now they,
damn it!
well, I mean, like, or maybe we should determine that.
It should be.
Because, like, who knows? Like, if he's that loving of
No,
power,
I think it should be. I think
yeah,
it should be.
Just it should be that same asshole of a guard. But like, hey, the asshole.
Feel like I didn't.
Asshole
There's
guards
something
like,
about the way you beat me that just turned me on. And
asshole guards like exerting their power in more of the ways than one. But, so yeah, I think they would say something along the lines of, "Inmate, I swear to God, you, as they're like coming on over." It's probably more or less all you hear is like coming over with a, definitely a bit of a force and purpose over there. So, doesn't look especially happy. What do you say as he's getting closer to try and indeed charm and make the best out of this situation? Or you don't necessarily have to have the exact words. Just like, what's the general type of thing that you would be trying to do here? Like, how are you trying to convince him to? How are you charming him? Like, if you have the exact words, perfect. But you can broad strokes it if you want.
I think I just say to him, "Hey, the way you handled me earlier just really takes me back to
Oh wow,
a relationship I was once."
So just like fully leading into that version of it. Okay. Hey, I mean, there's probably a chance that if he's the asshole that we've been painting him out to be, that may be exactly what he wants to hear. We're gonna let the dice decide.
Okay.
So just
I say something along the lines of, "You must get lonely, right?" And yeah, I'm just doing I'm literally batting my eyes and putting out a little bit.
Yeah, so trying to charm him into, if this succeeds, what is the success of this that he gets close enough for you to wallop him with that bar, or is the success?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure like what the good version of this is. Okay.
Oh, that's totally. He's getting back what he dished out.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's what I figured, but I wanted to verify like how far does this go, and also just.
Oh, not that far at all.
which I didn't think it would. I just more wanted to know, like, are you trying to get him to go inside the cell, or just close enough to be able to do whatever? Like,
just close enough, yeah.
Okay. I think I have enough to understand how to interpret these dice, and of course, with your help and chat's help as well, we will make this interesting. So, definitely compel him to come over here in a nice, sort of vulnerable kind of way, not a "I'm about to beat the living shit out of you" kind of way. But you're charming him. We're gonna roll hard, and you're good at it.
Yes.
So and you have the momentum on your side. So let's see. All right, it's only a weak hit, and honestly, you couldn't improve it with momentum anyway. But weak hit means they will. You'll get +1 momentum, and they'll do what you want. So you've maxed out your momentum, but they want something in return. It's not as big as the like miss, like they want something in return, but there's something that he wants. I mean, I think we know what he wants, but
yeah.
But considering that, like, I want to make sure this feels different from a strong hit, because like if we make like, oh, he wants to have
Maybe
sex.
he wants to hit me again.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, we could do it that way, where
That'll
like
just
forcefully, it's just like takes control and does has this be a more violent sexual encounter that he's trying to establish right off the bat with like a strong like backhand to the face or something like that. If I want to make sure before we go too graphic with anything like this, number one, even if something happens here at all, which it's not going to, we're not going to get too specific with it just for the purpose of the stream. But number two,
no.
this is
I
a charged
wouldn't.
enough situation that I just want to make sure we're all comfortable with these depictions. Like, sexual violence is, of course, no joke, and, like, for anybody in chat that might be a little bit closer to, I just want to make clear to you, we're not going to make that very explicit or anything like that. We're just talking about intentions
this
here.
isn't-
But it's sensitive, so it feels worth saying. We're not. I don't personally want to explore that too deeply.
No, I don't either. And just this is pretty PG-13.
Yeah, but if that makes sense to you, that as a consequence, that indeed like he gives you like a or maybe instead of like a backhand, like to make it make sense because he's not inside the cell, because it's kind of awkward to backhand somebody through bars. Like maybe just like grabs you, like pulls you towards the bars really hard to try and grab you and start molesting
maybe he
you.
leaves
But
some
like
bruises or something.
well, like I imagine maybe your head hits the bars or something, so it kind of like rings your bell just a little bit.
Okay.
Like you don't have a concussion, but it would be
Yeah.
enough to yeah, like he wants something in return, and he wants to what he wants is to feel powerful and dominating and to be a real monster. I don't like this man at all.
I don't like him either.
Yeah, you better watch yourself. I've got anyway.
He's gonna get what he deserves.
Absolutely. So we're gonna now. You got to be careful though, because if you're indeed trying to give him a kabonk on the head, which is what's coming next, like right now your health is not looking so good. Like after that beating and hitting your head on the bars, like you've been better.
Okay.
But we're gonna have you endure harm to see how well you take the hit. And like last time, who knows? Maybe it just goes well for you now. Unfortunately, now your health and iron are the same as a +1, so it doesn't really matter which one you roll. Let's see how well you take the hit. You do it with another strong hit, though. So this time, as I recall, your options are you could either take +1 momentum as you like grit your teeth and endure it, but you're maxed out anyway. Or you could take -1 momentum to just get that health right back, which is certainly my recommendation. Your momentum's going to be really high either way.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get that health back.
I don't want you to be too. So you're carrying Flint. I need you to get out of here. I don't want you to be too endangered. So yeah, let me move that momentum down a tick and the health back up. So like there's a moment where it's a solid hit, and you have to kind of like shake it off as he starts being a little grabby through the bars. But it's not too bad. Like it's just kind of a moment. Like it's almost like hitting your funny bone or something. Like it's a solid hit, but then you shake it off. So you definitely have your moment here where he is exposed and is opening himself up to all of this. It sounds like it's time to indeed do that, like face danger to knock him out. Like I don't imagine we need to do this as a full-on like battle scene. Like if you have your moment, you can kabonk him over the head and knock him out Gilligan's Island style.
Just wait for the opportune moment, and yeah.
All right, let's do it then. So it sounds like a face danger with iron. Then it's just a close quarters. It's either iron or shadow because you're kind of doing it a little underhanded. Actually, yeah, I guess if we'd been doing it properly, when you compelled him over here, it probably should have been with shadow, not heart, because you were definitely trying to trick him. Like, sure, you were charming him, but there was a lot of deceit involved. But, actually, that would have made the difference.
Wouldn't it have been wits? Or
No, because yeah, wits is like how aware you are of the world and everything. Shadow is when you're being
Oh, okay.
all tricky like that.
Okay.
But yeah, if as I'm looking at it, that if we, well, all right, everything is back the way it was before that roll anyway. You want to just kind of rewind and redo it with Shadow because it,
Yeah, we can do that.
yeah, like rewind a little bit. None of the slap or anything happened because everything is back anyway. Let's roll you a Shadow roll and see how that went instead, as you try and
Okay.
seduce him over.
Okay.
Okay, same thing will happen. You got a weak hit again, so now we'll just reinterpret it as yeah, we did the right stat, and then all the same things happen. If you got him at the moment, we're all good. We're back where we were with just a little bit of cutting out one piece and reinserting another.
Okay.
Just recognizing that it was a wily trick. And yeah, let's do that face danger. Let's see if we can knock him out. Now, this is definitely one where if it doesn't go your way, it might be a good use of momentum to just burn it and get the good result, because I can't imagine this going very well if you just wind up with like a miss on this or something. It'd be a bad time to get one.
Yeah.
And you have that momentum protection. So, let's roll you an iron roll. Hopefully you just won't have to anyway. Oh, we never used that +1 that you earned from the secure and advantage. Now is when it makes the most sense to use it. You have the iron rod. That's definitely what's giving you the ability to do this.
When did I secure the advantage?
When you found the iron rod in the wall, that was part of.
Oh, that okay. Gotcha.
What that got you was make another move now and add +1 to it, which we never did. In theory, it should have been the calling him over move, but this makes more sense for why it's helping you anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So we're gonna use it right now. Give you that +1. Okay, momentum can't make this any better, but you do have a weak hit, which means you're gonna knock him out with it, but it's gonna cost you either momentum, health, spirit, or supply. Supply doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Maybe health. Maybe he does something else to me. Like
yeah, it could turn into a little bit of a
process.
tussle. Like he might. Maybe in waiting for that moment, since we established he was kind of being a little violent with this encounter, he had to call it like he was like maybe like he grabbed your other hand and was like biting down a little too hard or something. Yeah, he's a real jerk. Does not care at all about your experience of this. He's just like, oh sweet, I'm gonna get my rocks off. I'm going to. The way I do that is by making you as miserable as possible. Okay, well, yeah, if you like that outcome, then, yeah, he was just, in order to get that moment to come, he had to bite down really hard. And maybe that's even why you hit him when you did, because, like, the bite was so painful, like, you just couldn't take it anymore. It has to be now. It's like, fuck! And, like, hit him over the head. All right, so one more time, then, let's have you endure harm to see how well you take it. Do health roll. Oh shit. Complication. Which
he hit an artery. I don't know.
you know, it's so on endure harm, it's a miss, so you press on, but
it's a miss.
Yeah.
Correct.
Given that this is just a how well do you take the hit roll, like I don't know how much we really need to make the complication mean anything. I'm not gonna like maim you from that. I mean, I guess it could be that there's wounded, which is like a lesser maimed. I guess it's a pretty high complication.
Wait, where's my health at?
Your health right now is brought down to +1.
Okay.
We could give you the wounded condition if indeed like it's such a bad bite or something, like maybe bit down even harder once you hit him, and like it's it could have Yeah. Like we could give you a condition as a result of that. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Now for just the miss, you're going to press on, but you're going to suffer -1 momentum. Unfortunately.
Damn it.
Because it just that didn't go quite the way you were hoping for. Yeah, it just kind of costs you a little bit of time and a little bit of that sense of you're completely in control. But yeah, I think it would be cool. Conditions are something you can get rid of, but you'll kind of have to take time to treat your injury a little bit more. Yeah, I think we should give you wounded and figure out a little bit more about like maybe bit you. Like he like put your finger in his mouth or something, and then like bit down and like just like really bit down on the joint of like a couple of your fingers or something, and so it's just like one of your hands, like not your dominant hand obviously because that's the one that has the pipe in it or the bar in it, just got a little bit injured. It's gonna make it harder for you to. It's just harder to do stuff right now. Now it doesn't affect anything. It's not going to affect any of your rolls. What conditions do is it just means that when you reset your momentum, it's going to reset as 1 lower than it would otherwise, and your maximum is 1 lower. So like it affects your momentum, but that's it. So it's not too bad. I just need to let's mark you as wounded and then set your momentum max and everything the way it needs to be. Real quick, sorry for the delay. Where is that thing? Set core. Yeah, max and reset. So this will now be 9. And reset will now be +1. Okay. So yeah, just like it's probably hard to stifle just like fuck or whatever when like really gives your fingers he like Joe Pesci on Macaulay Culkin's fingers at you and just like really hurts.
I assume Nakata woke up at the yelling.
Well, do you think you yelled out, or like I leave that up to you. You could whether or not you're able to keep that all inward.
Okay. Yeah, I think I try to stifle it so as not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Call any other.
I think it hurts really badly.
Call more attention from other guards.
I think
if they're out there.
Yeah, in any other situation, I think you would absolutely yell out. But given this, you're able to keep it together enough to. Well, yes. Had I not given you wounded, I would have said that, yeah, the complication is that you yell out as a result of it, but we've already given you, like, a complication from this beyond what you had. So I think because of that, you're able to keep it together. But he's knocked out on the ground now, right outside the bars. You have a moment here.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was...
You had a weak hit, so, like, you still get what you want. There was just a complication to it. Like, there was a long series of things that got to this point, but... The initial thing, the complication was just on how well you took the pain of when he dealt you that damage.
How is it a weak hit? Because I'm seeing action score 5, but challenge dice is way...
One of them is, but it's still 5 is still higher than 4.
Oh, okay.
It's each individually.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So he's knocked out, and you have an opportunity here. I think it's reasonable to say that they probably have, like, whatever keys there are to this cell, like, he probably has them. So, how else did they open up the cell to go beat up a prisoner?
I'm going to take the keys rather than try to just, like, crank the whole gate off, because that would make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
and I think
makes sense. I think this is definitely, if you have the keys and are able to get out of your cell, that is definitely enough to earn you the first milestone on escaping this place. So let's give you that. 3 boop boop. So first milestone hit, you get 2 progress. So
maybe I just rip off some of the cloth from my potato sack and like wrap it around my fingers. If they're bleeding, they're probably
maybe a little bit. Yeah, sounds reasonable. So yeah, you give a little quick solution to it to to help out, but
Just
to
hold
like
them together.
full on treat it, that'll take a little bit longer and probably take some time and stuff. But for now, you're okay with that. So yeah, what do? Do you just like leave him?
I start
Do you leave him on
looking
there on the
for-
ground, or
Oh, should probably tie him up, huh?
all up to you?
Does he have can I search him for like shackles or
Oh, just like something that you could use to bind him. Yeah, let's make a roll out of it. Let's see if you've let's see if you can find something like that on him. It sounds like well, it's not really a gather information. That's like searching a full-on area. I think this is more just an oracle roll, really. Like, we just find out whether or not he has what you need.
okay.
So I think if he had something, you'd find it. He's completely at your disposal, and there's only so much you can keep on his person. So it's just whether or not he has it. I think it's almost certain that well, not shackles. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking, like, he would need keys, and he would need, like, a weapon.
I feel like he
but-
would have a spare shackles
Just a way to
of
bind
sorts
somebody?
on him. Yeah, on him.
I think it's about 50-50. They could,
Okay.
they might. We'll just leave it up to the dice here. So, does he have some kind of just, like, shackles or, like, portable manacles, something to bind somebody up real good like?
Okay.
No. Apparently not.
Damn it.
The,
All right, well, I'll just put him
the
in.
dice say no.
I'll just drag him into the cell and lock him up in there.
With Nakata.
Sorry, Nakata.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nakata is all the more just trying to play off like she has been asleep this whole time. Just like, probably does one of those like snoring ever louder right now. Just like, I'm totally asleep. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so leave him in there. Cool. Nothing could really stop you from that. What's the next step here?
I'm just moving as quickly as I possibly can with the injuries that I have and the health that I'm at. I'm looking for Chandra.
Okay.
Do I find her in this like hallway of cells? That's
Well, I think we could kind of wrap this all in just doing a gather information roll, which is now you are searching an area, trying to find Chandra. Now, ordinarily you would make this with wits, but to be honest, actually, okay, here's what I think would make the most sense. I assume you don't want to get caught in this process, right? Like, you want nobody to find out that you're out of your cell.
yeah.
I think what we could do to represent this the best is secure an advantage with stealth to just make it like you have the advantage of nobody's finding you along the way. And you're able to take your time and like be in the right places to look around. And then that will help you out on the eventual gather information to try and find her.
Okay.
That seems like a good way to represent all of this. There are other more complicated ways, like we could turn this into a scene challenge or things like that, but I don't think it needs to be all that much, especially because we only got about 20 minutes left and we've only got one milestone, so let's push ahead. Let's get you out of this prison.
Okay.
So, real quick, secure an advantage with stealth or with shadow. Ooh, you have a miss, but you have enough momentum to turn that into a strong hit if you want. Now, this would right away, if this were a strong hit, it would help you gain either momentum back or it would make your next move better. If you get a miss on this, you're gonna just like your assumptions will betray you. You'll probably indeed get found out, I think, along the way, and have to pay the price. An alarm might raise is what
Okay.
makes the most sense kind of in this situation, given that this is representing how well you're able to like stick to the shadows and not be noticed while you're looking around.
Yeah, I want to play it as safe as possible.
So yeah, let's burn that momentum. So it's going to go all the way down to +1 now because of that injury. Damn it. Ah. There we go. I always accidentally grab just the entire group of little movable things. There we go. All the way down to +1. But this turns it into a strong hit. And as a result, that means that you get that choice that we had before, where you can either get a +1 when you try and like find her on that gather information, or you can gain 2 momentum back right now and start building that track back up.
Okay.
So what sounds better to you?
I'm just gonna gain that momentum
Okay.
and
Build that back up.
yeah.
All right. There we go. Back up at a +3. It's now at a level where maybe it could help you again. Got a long way to go, but hey, at least the momentum saved you from that moment. There's probably a close call there where like it almost went badly. Like you almost turned a corner like right at the wrong time when some like 2 guards side by side were about to be right there, but like at the last moment you like heard some footballs and like pulled back and like stuck along the wall, and they did that thing where because you were in their peripheral vision, they didn't see as they walked like right past you. But
Kronk with the bug.
yeah. Yeah, something like that. A little bit. I mean, they were going all right for a little while. Some of the recent stuff have been unfriendly, but it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah.
And you still got most of what you wanted, really. We still gotta... Okay, so you're able to... You save yourself from that moment. Let's do the gather information to see, can you find her? Now, it's unfortunate. I was definitely hoping that you would have momentum for this, just to make sure that you could get her right off the bat. But...
Do I try to gather information, or do I just?
Well,
am I just
in the sense of
searching
gather information can be searching, which is in this case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are searching an area. The other options are like asking questions or conducting investigation or following a track, but you are searching an area for a person. So this is a version of the just broad move gather information.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not gather information in like the D&D sense of like, or it doesn't have to be that.
Question
rather.
all the prisoners.
Yeah,
I wanna keep this on the download as
Yeah,
possible.
Exactly. And I think because you got a strong hit on that, like I don't think even prisoners are aware that you're out right now.
Okay.
Other than, of course, the one that you told it about. Nakata knows, but everybody else is asleep and unaware that you're skulking around. All right, so this would be with your wits. So let's see. Can you find her while you're being all sneakily deekily? Miss, and you do not have the momentum to repair that. So on a miss, now all you're doing is like trying to find something. So like your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. So I think since it's a full-on miss and like what you find out is like a bad thing, I think it would be great if you've determined where she is, but she's indeed like in an interrogation room right now or something. Like she's in a place actively where there are like guards in there with her, like questioning her.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that. Not literally doing the holding the torch in the face like we were talking about, but she's probably like bound to a either a chair, or they may just be like manacled to a wall or something in what would otherwise be, yeah, she's just like in an area where they question prisoners. I think that they're every once in a while doing some hard hits or something and asking her questions about Muko, like why were you talking about Muko? What? This is gonna be a episode with a lot of unfortunate violence.
There's a lot of
violence on people that really can't, like. It's a lot of power dynamic violence, unfortunately. Yeah,
I mean, it is Ironsworn.
Yeah, they're roughing her up a little bit, asking her about Muko. I think. Let's see. I want to find out, would she be saying anything to them right now or not? And importantly, like, would she be... Because, like, the truth of it is, like, there isn't at least something that she could say about how, like, you know, it's the two of you trying to find him, like, that you were together. And does she say anything about that, or is she not give you up at all? Not that, like, that's the word, like, that incriminating, but I'm just curious.
I think she just straight up tells him the truth that we're.
Well, I'm doing an oracle roll on it.
Oh, you're doing an oracle roll. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. I think it could go either way.
Okay.
Well, she's kind of unpleasant. I recall. I don't remember the exact adjectives we gave her, but
she's tough.
yeah,
And she's
I think it's
a little suspicious of everyone.
I would push it more to unlikely that she would start talking. She doesn't like them. She doesn't want to give them what they want. It's more like a stubbornness than a feeling like, oh shit, if they find out, then we're all doomed. Like, she just doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to give them what they want. They pulled her out of her cell, presumably when she was in the middle of sleep, and they're being real jerks, and they don't deserve to know anything about him. Like, fuck you, I'm not going to tell you anything. Even if it would solve, like, her current problem. Which it probably wouldn't anyway. Yeah, no. She's not going to tell him a goddamn thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's just, like, taking it and doing the classic, like, just spitting blood back in their face or something, and, cause yeah, I mean, she's got the full-on, like, scarred face and everything. Like, she's taken bad stuff before. She doesn't give a shit about just being punched. Probably says something to that effect of, like, do you think your hits are the worst I've gone through? This barely even registers. Come on. She, like, exposes her face again, just, like, turns over, like, turns the other cheek and just goes, like, come on. How's about another one? Really, give me something to remember. So what do? You're, like, outside and able to hear a little bit of this, and presumably, I guess, see it through, like, a little window in the door or something. So what's the plan?
I'm asking Flint. Like, Flint, what do I
Okay.
do here?
Yeah, he ponders over the situation a little bit. He thinks and goes, well, you could certainly just wait it out. They're gonna have to leave her eventually. They're probably gonna escort her back to the cell. I bet your keys just might open any of the doors if you can just keep quiet until then. Maybe the easy way is just break her out then. I mean, if you want to save her a little bit of pain, then it's probably going to require a little bit more risk than that.
Okay, those are the options. I need you to tell me what to do.
Well, if it were... How much do you like this person?
I mean, she saved me from drowning, and you. Like,
Yeah.
I trust her. And I need to fulfill my oath of getting her back to Muko.
Then I think you
I
might...
don't want to break that.
It sounds like you kind of owe her one then. I don't know. You're pretty good on your feet. I bet you could get the drop on these guards and take them. Especially you got the two of you together.
Maybe I find my weapon.
Well, nothing dice-wise has really given you a real good opportunity to suggest something nice happening to you like that, but you could certainly look for it.
If I could just find my weapon, and then I could charge these guys.
Okay. Maybe try and I mean, we could certainly just do that as another gather information as you just look around there, just try and find your weapon real quick. But it could also just be... It definitely sounds like a secure advantage as well, where it's just you're making preparations of, like, with your wits, looking around, trying to find your weapon, or at least a weapon, presumably, to be able to take him.
Maybe I could have taken that guard that I knocked out?
Yeah.
I could take his weapon.
Yeah, you would have a club or something if you want it.
Okay, so let me just go back.
Or there's
grab
the one you
whatever's on
knocked him out
him.
with.
That as well, but I feel like he has something a bit more useful. And
Probably.
I think
A little bit less impromptu. More meant to be a weapon. A little less awkward.
Okay, yeah. That's
I mean,
I think I grabbed that on the way out, and
that you could totally have.
Okay, so I'm gonna charge these guys, and I'm gonna.
Alright. Just take him. You can take him. You're a big
I'm sure with the distraction.
You're a big damn hero. Okay.
I like to think I am.
Yeah.
I got that heart.
You,
anyway.
You do. So so we could do this as a full on, just like full combat. We're kind of running out of time though, so I would suggest that we just do this as the one roll battle.
Okay.
Just because we don't have too much time left in the stream.
Yep.
And would hate to just end off mid battle. So yeah, rather than enter the fray and make you just like do all those moves, because you'd be against an unaware foe, which would use your shadow. Unfortunately, it would actually be kind of the worst for you. So when you fight a battle and it happens in a blur, envision your objective and roll. If you fight primarily at range, using your speed and the terrain to your advantage, does not really sound like what you have the ability to do here. That would be your edge, but I don't think so. Fight depending on your courage, allies, or companions. I mean, that would be hard, but I don't, like... Unless there's some specific way that you can get Chandra to, like, help you in this situation when she's manacled. I feel like that's more...
That's what I was thinking.
But I feel like heart is more meant for, like, it's a big battle, and, you've got all of your, like, riders together, and you charge into, like... I think that's more what that's meant to represent, is, like, you've got all of your backup here, just charge, we'll do it together. Yeah, I mean, it could certainly be iron, which is just fighting close to overpower your opponent. Trickery to befuddle your opponent with shadow. And using careful tactics to outsmart your opponent would be wits. You could maybe just do a little bit of that. Like,
or edge?
Well, edge is the, if you're fighting at range or using your speed and the terrain to your advantage. And I guess the terrain could be, like, they're near a door and you, like, slam the door into them.
I like that.
Though I think by terrain they more mean like the ability to quickly like hide behind things and stuff like that is why it's edge. I think if you're doing that, that would either be trickery or careful tactics. Which if we're going for the thing that works for you best, that would be the careful tactics and using your wits. Since that would certainly work better for you than shadow. So yeah, you find your moment when the best time to start off, where at least one of them will take such a hard hit that you can kind of get them quickly before they can know what's going on. It's an ambush.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like once Chandra sees me, she just instantly realizes I'm trying to distract, as well as charge.
She'd do what she could, probably with her legs.
She takes on the other guy, because I know there are two of them.
Yeah.
Even though she's shackled, I feel like she can.
Well, let's see. It's all going to be one roll, so let's see what happens. For good or ill, it's all wrapped up in one. And that one is a miss.
Oh, damn it.
So, on a miss, you are defeated and the objective is lost to you. Pay the price. Oh yeah, in theory we're supposed to envision our objective and roll. So presumably the objective would have been to take them out and free Chandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Oh man, we always like to leave on big moments, and your objective being lost to you. In this case, we need to figure out in what sense that is. No, I don't think anybody's dead. I don't want to be that cruel. I don't think they kill Chandra, and I don't think you're dead. But you definitely somehow lose this battle, and it would sound like you're probably now recaptured in some sense and are being treated more seriously as a threat. Unless you can think of something else that also makes sense as a way to interpret that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just assume they recapture us and...
Like, I don't want to make it too boring and just, like, retreading the same territory next time. So let's see, what'll be different about this next time? Because the objective is lost. And the objective is the ability to free Chandra from here and defeat them. So...
Is she, like, wounded in this skirmish? Is she, like, fatally wounded, or...
Oh, fatally? Oh, wow. That would definitely be an interesting turn there. Yeah, because I was going to say, if you're just, like, wounded, that would probably be, that would be a weak hit. You achieve your objective, but not without cost. But this is a full-on miss.
Yeah, so
like,
I feel like that would make more sense to be fatally.
Yeah, maybe the cost that it took was indeed, like, she has a mortal wound at this point. I like that idea. It's gonna make it really hard to help Chandra find Muko. But technically, if we're interpreting it this way, I am happy to make the trade-off that, like, you defeat them, but in the process she gets mortally wounded. And so that's why the objective is lost. You still have her and you out of your cells and able to move on from now. That still is a milestone. It's just you're in a bad position right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Can we just, like, get out of the prison but have her fatally wounded and just, like, off the premise?
I don't think we have enough time to answer that question just yet. We're at...
Dang it!
I think that is a question we're going to have to answer in episode 11. However... If there's indeed an episode 11, that does mean that we will have survived longer than my last campaign, which ended on episode 10. My character died in season 1, episode 10. So we're doing it longer. But yeah, we end on, I guess, let's see, how is she more? I guess she's like, one of them had a blade or something. And like, I think, yeah, she got like stabbed in the guts or something. And it's just like, holding it in, like trying to keep pressure on it as you've got like an arm around her or something.
So wait, if it's a miss, how did that allow us to defeat them?
Well, because the objective was that was to break Chandra, like to rescue Chandra, and
okay, so she wasn't rescued.
Like the objective is what failed, because in the process of breaking her out, she's gonna die. She's mortally wounded.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah, exactly. That's a way to make it into a miss without just being like, and you're thrown back in another cell and we'll do the same thing next time. Like, that's boring. We don't want to do just the same thing all over again. So I think that's a more interesting result, to make that part of the objective the part that fails, and that you still can, like, well, I guess here's the quick question before we go. This will help color the ending shot. I think after you've, like, defeated them, like, Chandra is mortally wounded, is clearly, like, doing what she can to, like she's, like, coughing up blood and is not doing very well.
No.
Are you trying to knock these guards out, or does that image cause you to do more to them, is my question for you.
What do you mean?
Like, are you killing these guards, or are you just disposing of them in a more non-lethal way?
Oh no, I think do you want to roll for that? I mean, we got 1 minute.
we usually do the random rolls for things that are like non-character stuff, and like questions about the world we don't know the answer to. This is
I think they're just, as far as I'm concerned, they're knocked out. I don't know if they're dead or
Okay.
not
Yeah,
because
it was
I'm
just-
focused on her
yeah.
and
Okay, as long as you weren't
they're disabled.
Yeah, as long as you weren't actively trying to kill them, then I don't think they're going to be dead. It was more a question for, it was just whether or not that was your intention. Okay, so then yeah, you got a couple of unconscious bodies in here, and Chandra just like holding in her guts, like looking up to you, just. And then it's like credits, executive producer Midnight Chester 8. Like, yeah, I think we'll just go out on the look of just help me that's in her eyes, and yeah, I think Blink. Did we lose you? I think we lost Blink and Firefly. Because entirely frozen on my end, but we're wrapped up anyway, so I'm just going to do the wrap up here. Thank you for joining me again for Ironsworn. This is our ongoing campaign. This was session 10. If you didn't catch all of it, or if you don't have all the context for what's been going on, these episodes all do go up on YouTube. It will be up there. This one will be up there tomorrow night. There's a link down below to my playlist. Or not directly to the playlist, but to my channel, and you can find the playlist on there. This is again oh, there we go. We got you back.
My internet cut out. Sorry.
Gotcha. No problem. We have you back. So Blink, tell us a little bit about your stream real quick. Now that we have you back.
Sorry. I'm I'm a singer, songwriter, musician. I play piano and ukulele and do lullabies
Absolutely.
on my channel. So if you like that stuff, come check me out.
Over on twitch.tv/BlinkandFirefly. I, of course, do this around here on Tuesday nights with Blink and Firefly, but on Sunday nights, 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, I do cello requests, 4 hours of them. And I guess you already knew that because I said 5 to 9 p.m. Cello request, whatever you want to hear. During the week, I sometimes also do some other just like gaming streams or whatever. This Wednesday, so tomorrow, my plan is after work, I'm going to do another intro song recording stream. So some viewers around here get little intro songs that play when they first show up. Tofu Terror, yours is up next. So tomorrow I'm going to be recording your intro song when I get home. I'll probably start at around like 8 o'clock. So that'll be tomorrow. And yeah, otherwise, if you had fun, if you enjoy this game, if you think you might enjoy it for yourself, I highly recommend you go over to ironswornrpg.com right now, pick yourself up a copy. It is totally free to check out if you want just the PDF version. There's more stuff coming out for it. There's a Delve supplement that is that Sean is still working on. I look forward to picking that up as soon as it comes out and incorporating it more into the game when that happens. But yeah, it's a game you can play entirely by yourself. You can make these really compelling stories without any forethought whatsoever. They always take interesting turns, and they're really cool. Check it out for yourself. And if you have tales of your own Ironsworn characters, I want to hear about them over on my Discord or on comments on YouTube videos or wherever. Tweet me. I want to know about your games. But for now, I think it is time to sign off and head back to these Iron Lands next week. So hope you guys enjoyed, but time for us to go. Good night, everybody.